Tonight, raising the stakes. The White House says President Trump has the authority to fire special counsel Robert Mueller.
He has the power to do so.
That view seems to contradict Justice Department regulations, which give Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein the authority to fire Mueller.
We've been advised that the president certainly has the power to make that decision.
It comes as sources close to the president say he believes Mueller crossed a line when federal prosecutors raided the office and residences of his personal attorney, Michael Cohen. The case referred by Mueller. Rosenstein signing off on the search warrants. Law enforcement sources telling NBC News investigators are interested in payments to two women who say they were paid off to stay silent about their alleged affairs with Mr. Trump. Porn star Stormy Daniels and former Playboy playmate Karen McDougal. Those payments could lead to election fraud or bank fraud charges. The White House has denied both women's accusations of an affair. The president mummed today.
Are you thinking about firing Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein?
After unleashing a blistering attack late last night.
It's an attack on our country in a true sense. It's an attack on what we all stand for. Why don't I just fire Mueller? Well, I think it's a disgrace what's going on. We'll see what happens.
And this morning, doubling down, tweeting a total witch hunt and attorney-client privilege is dead. Tonight, pressure mounting from Capitol Hill with bipartisan calls for Mueller to stay in place.
I'm confident that would be the beginning, the end of his presidency, and he's not going to do that.
We have one simple message for him. Don't even think about it.
So does the president have the legal authority to fire Mueller?
If President Trump was to demand that Rod Rosenstein fire Mueller, that could very well be obstruction of justice. It would be another count in the many counts that may already make up a charge.
Lester, it is worth noting a potentially significant shift in tone here. The White House has consistently denied the president is thinking about firing Mueller, and yet no such denials tonight. Meanwhile, multiple sources tell NBC News Stormy Daniels is cooperating with federal investigators.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.